Welcome to the woods. It's a very warm sunny day, which is nice. I lost my temper yesterday. It's not something I do very often, but I was at work and I was talking to an old friend, ex-army. When I say ex-army, he left the army and ended up rejoining again, and works with veterans with PTSD. And we were discussing how what's gone on for the last year and a half has affected some of these veterans. And he was talking about the mental health problems and the post-traumatic stress disorders that some of these blokes are going through, and how it had got so much worse. And I spoke to him about how that's kind of mirrored in everyone, in the people that actually found it really hard and whose mental health suffered, how the suicide rate's risen, but also in just the general population, all those ones wearing masks and washing their hands 500 times a day and social distancing, and the ones that go along with it, who went along with it, how they seem beaten into submission, how mentally I think they're exhausted. And I spoke to him about how it affected me personally, and I got angry. I got angry about what happened. And that's because of who I am and how I've structured my life and the reasons behind that. I came to the conclusion years ago that if I wanted to be in control of my own life, I would have to be self-employed. And that's not for everyone, I understand that, but it was for me. I didn't want to be beholden to a boss or anyone else who would tell me when I could work and how I could work and what job I had to do and how often I could work and how much money I could earn. I wanted to be in control of that myself. So the obvious thing is to work for yourself, which is what I did. And I've spent years being self-employed and progressing to where I was at a point where I was doing okay. And that was taken away from me. Like that. My ability to earn money and look after myself and my family was taken away from me and replaced with complete reliance on the state. Through no fault of my own, through no choice of my own, I had no say in that. And that pissed me off. Beyond pissed off. I was angry. And what surprised me yesterday was when I started to talk about it, I was still angry. I was angry that something like that could happen. That the one thing I did have, that thing which is my ability to work and earn money for myself and look after myself and my family, was taken away from me. And it still makes me angry now. But I remember when it happened, during that first lockdown, when everyone was a little bit unaware of exactly what was happening. I looked into it. and I went down lots of different avenues. And as it transpires, it looks as if it's all to do with getting as many people as possible onto a digital ID. And why would that be important? Why would they want everyone to have a digital identification? Well, once again, it's to do with control. Once you have that digital ID, you won't be able to do anything without them knowing about it. They'll know where you're spending your money, what you're spending it on, how much you have. You'll need it to do work transactions. You'll need it to get a job. They'll know where you work, what you do. You'll need it to log on to social media or even use the internet. They'll know everything you do. Complete control. If you look at the Chinese social credit system, that's pretty much what they're going to roll out through Europe. Some companies have already introduced digital ID, people like MasterCard. At the moment, these things are being rolled out on cell phones. The NHS vaccine app is a digital ID. The MasterCard digital ID, where you can bolt on as many other little applications as you want. All being pushed by the same people. By Bill Gates, by Jeff Bezos, by Microsoft, by the World Economic Forum. All pushing for digital IDs. So they can control you. And if you step out of line, they'll have control of you. You will become digital data. Without your ID, you can't do anything. And if your ID can be limited, they can switch off your ability to travel, switch off your ability to buy goods and services. They can switch off your ability to go anywhere, do anything. And that old adage that I used to hear about CCTV cameras, which is, if you're not doing anything wrong, then you haven't really got a problem. Well, that all depends on who's telling you what's wrong and what it is they decide that's wrong. And when it's an unelected group of megalomaniac businessmen, it's not something I can trust. And it does make me angry to know that the governments are falling in line with this, and that quickly my ability to be able to look after myself and my family can be taken away, and that I have to be reliant on someone or something else. And if I'm reliant on them, I have to jump through their hoops. I have to do what they tell me, and maybe I don't want to. It's a very short step for them to say, well, the payments you're receiving are only going to be forthcoming if you've had your booster shot, if you've been double vaccinated, if you're towing the line. So what do you do then? And I'm in a quite good position insofar as if everything was cut off, I could still survive. But the fact that they have that ability makes me angry. But anger on its own is a negative emotion. Does nothing. And as any good boxer will tell you, what you need to do is you need to take that anger and you need to channel it properly into a positive purpose. So, I'm going to start setting up a few ideas and a few things that will see me through should that situation ever arise again, which I'm fully expecting it to. And if I can't continue to do what I'm doing at the moment because that has been taken away from me, I need to set up some other revenue streams, some other avenues of income. Be that barter, or be that cash. So over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be setting up a few simple businesses. Once they're done, I'll come back and tell you about them. Who knows? Some of you might be able to use the same ideas. Some of you might be interested in getting whatever I'm producing. But I can't just be angry. It's about time I started directing that. Have a good one, you lot. I'll speak to you soon.